Thank you all for waiting, so let's not hold you up for any longer. We're gonna give this to Boxmeister running Metroid Fusion 100%. Good luck.
Mike Live. Okay, welcome everyone to Metroid Fusion 100%. I'll be collecting 100 items on the spaceship before blowing it up together with the planet, so let's get into it. Are you ready on the countdown, Tech? Okay, on 3, 2, 1, go! So, Metroid Fusion. It's a text-intensive game, as you can see here. You may notice that I'm playing on the Japanese version. Japanese version is 3 minutes faster on real time, but we run this game by in-game time, so it's allowed. It's not separated on that. Fusion is very movement intensive, as shown in this room, where I'll be showing off the movement tech. Nice! That's how it's supposed to be done. You notice that I can jump off walls. It propels me off the wall, so I can't keep on a single wall like I can in Super Metroid or Metroid Zero Mission, for example. But it's still useful in some places to scale some heights very rapidly. I also have a thing called ledge power grip, which allows me to grab ledges and climb on top of that. And I'll use that as well. So, in this game we'll be sent from place to place to resolve some problems on the ship. One of them was to check out the quarantine bay, which we did just now. We killed that enemy, and it turns out that this entire ship is infested by a threat called the X-Parasites. X-Parasites invade the host creature, copy its entire appearance and abilities, and kill it. We're immune to this because we have been infected by these parasites once, and we got cured by a Metroid vaccine. Metroids being the namesake creatures of the series, and which are extinct by this point, or at least we think they are. Whoops. Okay. Okay, that's the one. As you may know, right now we lost all. We don't have much abilities at our disposal to use to kill enemies or traverse areas. So the Galactic Federation, which sent us on this mission, is sending us to collect the missiles. They've prepared that data for us, and that should up our survival chances from 10% to 20%, which are still not very high numbers, but we should be able to manage by picking up the missiles. So this game is very cutscene intensive, lots of text, like on this elevator, like the mission statements earlier. This is also one of the reasons we go by in-game time, because really nobody likes to optimize text mashing. And the in-game timer in this game is actually really accurate. So it's a good measure to see how well you've done. It does result in the fact that we have, I believe, 4 people tied for the world record on any percent. They all have an in-game time of 45 minutes. For 100%, the in-game time world record is 1 hour and 4 minutes, achieved by, I believe it was 2 or 3 people. Not completely sure. But anyways, with the missiles, we can start doing some damage and traversing some more areas. These parasites, if we kill enemies, the parasites are released, and these parasites can be used to either restore health or refill our ammo, missiles. Yellow parasites refill health, green parasites refill missiles, and you may notice that we collect a few missile tanks right off the bat. These missile tanks we collected both in any percent and 100% because we need the next boss is rather ammo intensive. These Idors take 3 missiles to kill, but if you're decent and can time your missiles correctly, then you can kill them in 2 rounds. By timing your missiles in using a very special setup. I didn't manage to get it, but it's it's clear to see what the time advantage is. This is the first deviation from the any percent routes, where you pick up this additional energy tank. Like I said, we'll be collecting 100 items for 100%. Major upgrades in this game are not included in the percentage counter. So it's all missile tanks, power bomb tanks, and energy tanks. Okay, I missed that one. Okay, this fight is not going as well as I'd like. What you can do with these core fights after killing the major boss, you can align the missiles in such a way that you hit 2 missiles at once, doing double damage, which skips a round of invulnerability. It's a matter of experience and having the core axis line up correctly. Boss I just fought is basically a bit of a joke. He takes 60 missiles to go down. He's a little bit harder in 100% because you need to use 1 missile to get that E-tank right before the boss. So, but overall that fight is relatively easy. Shouldn't give you too much trouble. So yeah, the X-Parasites are loose in the sectors of this ship, which is a biological research laboratory. So they have a lot of creatures to infect on aboard the space station. So we'll be making our way to Sector 1 to deal with the trouble at hand. You may notice that I'm collecting a lot of stuff on the way. That missile tank I just picked up is an optional missile tank in any percent route. You can choose to pick it up to up your ammo counts slightly. In 100% we pick up everything. Although I may pick things up in a different order depending on what's more optimal. So here we see the main antagonist of this game, a copy of ourselves. Like I said before, we were infected by X-Parasites earlier. They cut parts from our suits to try and deal with this threat, which basically is the cause of us losing all of our abilities. But those infected parts actually reformed into this copy of ourselves. And yeah, she is overpowered. She can kill us rather easily. Although we can deal a little bit better with her in this category since we will be collecting a lot more health. But we'll get to that when the time comes. So Sector 1, a copy of the SR-388, the planet the X-Parasites were located on. Also the original home planet of the Metroids, which we'll see later in this run. Sector 1 is rather movement intensive. It's all a matter of not stopping and keeping your health and ammo as high as possible. And we need to clear these 5 stabilizers, because the X-Parasite wants an optimal breeding environment. So they infected these, but we can kill these stabilizers with some platforming and shooting. Oh, come on. This is also a little deviation. You skip this E-tank in any percent, although we do use the similar missile strat to clear the room rather quickly. Yeah, it's all about killing everything in your way without stopping movement. This room is RNG because the pirates can randomly jump from wall to wall, so you don't know how many are on the wall. If you keep your health as high as possible, the chance you get green drops which refill your ammo is also at its highest. And which is what I want, because I need a lot. I want at least 3 missiles before the next I-door, the next boss fight. Because at the I-door, when you kill the I-door, you get a red X, and the red X at this level refills your health and missiles under jumps. At this room, the space pirates can also ruin your day, but in general they tend to be nice or can be killed rather quickly. So you can progress through that room really fast. Some movement mechanics of this game. You may notice that I'm running a lot on the floor. It's faster to run than to jump travel through the air. Wall jumping makes your horizontal movement through the air a little bit quicker. So it's in some ways, in some places, a little bit more optimal. To activate this boss, I use something called a curved missile, where I add my walking speed onto the missile speed so that it curves around the corner. And this boss we can just trap on under the platform. No doubles on this I core. It's a little bit of a different core fight, but I still got it down, and we get our one of the most broken upgrades in the game, the Charge Beam. Charge Beam is very broken because it deals a lot of damage, and it also consists of 3 parts, which together deal a lot of damage. So you can shoot 2 blocks at once and deal a lot of damage. So it basically outperforms the missiles currently. And these 3 parts are used in later boss fights in order to make the bosses die quicker. What you also may see me do is that I'm shooting right before landing on a platform. This puts me 1 pixel lower, so that I land a little bit quicker, so I can start movement earlier. So it's to make me spend less time in the air. Charging your beam right before going through a doors transition makes your beam fully charged once you exit the door transition. So that's a lot. So if you let go during the door transition, you fire a fully charged shot on the first frame. And we use that in a couple of places in order to get some shots we really need in order to keep on moving. So, with our mission in Sector 1 done, we'll be like, well, what's happening next? Well, they also invaded the second sector. Second sector is a tropical sector. And second sector is where things are gonna get a little bit more dangerous. And in 100% they're gonna be extra dangerous, but I'll explain that a little bit later. All of these sectors have this navigation room, safe room, and recharge room at the start, so they always the layout at the start of the sector is always the same. That makes that'll add into this run a little bit later. For now, we'll make our way to the next sector in order to battle the threats, because, well, for now in the game, at this point in the game, we know that something has been releasing the X-Parasites from the quarantine bay. We already know from the cutscene that it's our X-clone, and at this point we learn that this X-Parasite clone of us actually exists. With this camera close-up we also got. And yeah, it's in this sector. But in order to run away from it, the Galactic Federation sends us some more data, the bomb data, in order for us to find some secret passages to escape, just to up our survival chances. The only problem is that the data rooms are behind the security locks, so we have to unlock the security levels one by one. And the security level locks are not on the map. Luckily, I know exactly where it is, so I'm gonna make my way towards it. Then this sector is, however, a lot more dangerous because these red worm-like enemies, Zoros, deal 45 damage per hit. So you want to kill them as quickly as you can. In that room I just passed, you have to kill the second one with 2 missiles. In close proximity, that's quite difficult to achieve without hitting, especially when they're approaching you, because it makes the room to hit them a lot smaller. Overall, we have more health than in any percent, so we shouldn't be in much danger here. And as you can see, with some practice, you can get both missiles in without dying. Nice. That jump I just got is pixel perfect. You can only get that if you jump at the right moments. Otherwise, you have to jump down and then jump up on the platform. So now we got the bombs. This is also where our item collecting spree for this sector begins. This is a tank we skip in any percent because obviously it's very slow to get. You need 3 bombs. What you saw happen there, the bomb exploded during the cutscene and I still got the boost afterwards. That's because during cutscenes like that, the timer for the bomb still runs. And you can use that at several places to progress a little bit faster. Yeah, a lot of items to collect, like I said. It's a small item collecting spree. And it's all a matter of dodging damage and killing enemies as quickly as you can. In 100%, this Zoro is always a bit in an awkward spot because it's right underneath you. Luckily, we have plenty of energy to just tank it if need be. And I'm getting infested by flies here. Oh my god. Flies make it hard to focus on your run, especially when they're in front of your face. We'll manage. Don't worry. So in this room, we can do little something to jump over the red pancakes. I'm unmorphed, got into spin, and then wall jumped over them. You may notice that I'm trying to make my jumps as tight as I can in order to minimize my airtime. That's one major factor of optimization for the speedrun, for any Metroid in general. This energy tank is a safety energy tank you can pick up in 80%, but we pick it up in 100%, obviously. Since we have charge beam now, if you stand at point blank range, you can kill the Idor in one shot, so no RNG on how many beams Idor fits in between opening it for a missile. Zasabi, this jump, how many jumps he wastes is also random. So 2 jumps on the first one is bad. He wants 5 jumps total. Is 3 is the minimum, 12 is maximum, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of jumps already. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is terrible RNG. I guess I'll just have to make do. And this one always opens up in first jump. So that's a double in. I timed my missiles in order to get the doubles in, and I got another double. So that brings the core down a little bit quicker. And we got high jump and spring ball, so we can jump in morph ball form and we can jump a lot higher. Careful, Tex. So with high jump, we're in a good spot. Spring ball is also really useful. I'm gonna make a safety save. That's because the next trick is a 100% only trick because I have a lot more energy at my disposal. But it is not entirely without risk. So let's see. I'm gonna be focusing on this. This should do. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I almost saved it, but that's what can happen. It is it's not entirely safe, but it's worth the time save if you're doing runs. Hopefully I can show it off the correct way this time. Let's see. This should do. There we go. That's how it should be done. Thank you, thank you.
Can I interrupt for a donation?
Go ahead.
I have a $5 donation from Blauwe saying, "Come on chat, let's make sure the announcer has some donations to announce." And I do fully agree with that. I would like to remind you that with that €5 donation you are now eligible for one of the 10 Action Hanks team codes. So if you want to win one of those codes, you can donate €5 and you will have a chance of winning one of them.
I'm curious. I kind of want to play that game myself as well. Looked really interesting. The Action Hand game, not gonna lie. So yeah, a little bit of a message for the donation reader. Anytime I'm in the navigation room or on the elevator, you're free to read anything you want. So you're free to interrupt me anytime you want in elevators, on the elevator hub and that kind of stuff. So now, because we unlocked the security levels, they are invading the other sectors, because the other sectors are also behind these security levels. So we're going to Sector 4 to check what's going on over there. Sector 4 also has the same layout of navigation room, safe room, research room, but they go to the left instead of the right. It's the only sector to do so. And it's also what throws off the muscle memory of the starting runners of this game. Yeah, again, a lot of text. You can do a couple of... You have to hold A2 in order to let the text load at maximum speed. But you also have to press A in order to get to the next text box. There's a split in runners between people who use mashing, just mashing A as quickly as you can to progress the text, and runners that time the text. I'm personally one that likes to time the text boxes, but it requires a lot of muscle memory. Because of the skip we did in Sector 2, the first part of the sector can be a little bit dicey at times. Luckily, the first extra thing we collect in 100% is an energy tank, so it refills our health. Which means that after this wall jump right here, through this door, I should be safe. Because here I get a health refill and I'm out of danger. It's the only dangerous part in the 100% run, really. Because you can die really easily on the SAX encounter. In any percent, we just wait for him to exit the room, after which you can safely pass. But in 100%, it's faster to go for the encounter. It's faster to just take the encounter and tank the hit. It's about a 5 or 6 seconds time save over any percent. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, a lot of 100% is collecting more items in between the any percent run, as it's called. But at the end of the run, we get an entirely new, a lot of extra gameplay with collecting the items in the large cleanup. So you see a lot of the usual Metroid Fusion any percent run, if you're familiar with that, and a lot of new stuff at the end, which involves a lot of using the gameplay mechanics to solve puzzles, get some items in a rather quick way. Yeah, right now we're making our way to our original goal was this tank, because there's this creature living in here which attacks at high speed. And a lot of damage in this sector could be attributed to that creature. But turns out the creature is already dead. We found its remains in that tank. So you can kind of guess what happened here. X-Parasites invaded, creature got copied. Which is our next boss fight, coincidentally. This is also a boss fight where we use the charge beam mechanics to maximum effect. So, if you hit him at point blank range, which I failed to do on the first hit, all 3 parts deal damage and you can finish him in 2 hits. Since he was still blue, I didn't get the first hit in completely. Let's see if we can get the 3rd hit in properly. For that I need a good pattern. That's a good one. There we go. Once again, double missiles in. That's another double. I had 2 doubles and 1 single. That's optimal for the core fight. So yeah, with Ceres, from Ceres we retrieve our Speed Booster ability. A Speed Booster, after a while, you can run through a lot of things, and you can charge this Speed Boost and release it in the form of a Shine Spark. Shine Sparks are used frequently throughout this run. Although usually we tend to go for a speed boost because Shine Sparks have this large startup and bonking animation. So in general, it's faster to go for a normal speed boost. We need to collect a few more things in this sector before we're done here. Oops. Tried to open the door. So the only thing left for us to do is to lower the water level in order to get prevent this short circuits and get our escape route from the sector. Because we killed the Ceres sample. In 80% you would go for a shine charge on this platform here and charge back through the wall, because that's faster. However, in 100% we want this missile tank here. This is in 80% a missile tank of shame. Basically a missile tank you can dodge. But it's fine because we need it in 100% anyways, because we're collecting all the items. Oh, nice. This is a trick you want to get in any percent. Or in 100% actually as well. The low height is basically, that's a low height shine spark. Basically you shine spark 1 pixel off the ground. So that allows you to fit through the tunnel without having to recharge a speed boost there. So that's optimal. Glad I could show that off. Because the setup for it is rather tight. Because it's pixel perfect. Usually people tend to set it up using a they bounce a morph ball form, unmorph quickly and get it. I'm bad at that setup. So I just rather try to wing it, and if it's too high then I'll change my direction to the left. So I spark to the left and can start the speed boost a little bit earlier.
Do you have time for a donation?
Go ahead, we're going into the elevator.
Oh boy. We have a $5 donation from Twitch chat saying Vohayo.
Ohio, back to Twitch chat. So yeah, with this elevator hub and this layout at the start of every sector, we can always get a speed boost. The reason we jump through the door is in order to land on the platform. That's faster than letting go of the D-pad. Because if you let go of the D-pad while in a speed boost, you skid across the platform, which costs you time. And with a jump, you can just land on the platform and immediately go down the elevator. The Galactic Federation wants to send us more upgrades, so they ask us, well, just open another security lock, we'll get to it. So, yeah, in any percent, you could opt to go for a nearly frame perfect trick here. But in 100% we need the setup from the bottom here. What you can do in any percent is if you land while if you fall in speed boost mode, the frame that you land, if you press down, then you store the shine charge anyway. And you can use that to shine spark all the way to the right here. Come on. But in and you can get through these blocks in one go. In 100% we need that tank below the floor, so we'll have to do the speed boost setup from the bottom anyways. It's totally not worth it to go for that. And usually it's faster to end in the speed boost landing, jumping than in a shine spark setting. Yeah, I'm gonna be trying another slightly slightly different trick. That's a shine break. If you, the moment what you can do is you can get speed boost the moment you start breaking, get on the block and you start breaking them. If you're quick on down, or if you shine charge on the edge, you break the blocks and get shine charge. And can use that to shine spark in a different spot. It's useful there, it's a little bit faster, not much, but it's cool nonetheless. So here we're gonna get an upgrade for our missiles. Basically they're gonna triple in damage from here on. You notice me that I let go of the D-pad to start sliding. This is in order to up my chances for this upcoming trick I tried. What you can do there, you have a single frame to initiate a shine spark from that upgrade spot. And then you can use that to start running a little bit earlier. You can use that to get out of the room, start running. It's a little bit faster, but it's rather hard to get. Another difference with any percent that we collect this missile tank. As you can see, the SAX blocked her way because she just collapsed the sector there. So we have to return to the room we just exited and find that our next boss is there. So say hi to Box. Box, fortunately, doesn't have RNG. And 10 shots is enough to finish up this boss fight. But Box flees. Box is not infected by X-Parasites. But we'll see Box a little bit later. Doing a shine spark there in order to break the block a little bit quicker. And in any percent you would be worried right here because you have a lot less ammo because we've been collecting a lot of stuff already. And you want a minimum of at least 3 missiles for the next sector. Well, in 100% ammo is never an issue because we'll be collecting 250 missiles total. So that means that we'll never be stressed for ammo except for the very first boss of the game. And the first 2 sectors, I guess. So yeah, we're because we got vaccinated using Metroid cells, we're vulnerable to cold. Metroids have a weakness to ice. In other games, we kill them using the ice beam, freeze them with ice beam, shoot them with missiles. Funny enough, that's also how the SEX tries to kill us in this game. But yeah, we dodge most of the SEX encounters because we can't damage the SEX. Luckily, the Galactic Federation comes to the rescue by having mates data in order to give us some more defense against the cold. Because if we in a sector with sub-zero, with Arctic circumstances, we would take damage. But after the suit upgrade, we won't any longer. So we get sent to this sector in order to collect that upgrade. Luckily, the data room is not behind a lock this time. However, the X-Parasites have gone to the Arctic sector and developed a ice elemental attribute. So if we absorb these blue parasites, we get damaged by them. For now. So while we're traversing through the sector, we're gonna dodge the blue X-Parasites as much as we can. Here I'm gonna do a little setup for the exiting the sector. Because that bomb at the wall clears a block, and while we exit the sector we can pick up a missile tank. These blue parasites can be stunned by shooting them. So luckily we can freeze them in place. Yes, that's a very unintended pun I did there. And right here we're just setting up for a nice little shine spark. Yeah, I ran into the door. I expected that. You also saw what... You noticed that I laid that bomb in the air. The reason I don't do it on the ground is because I don't want to get boosted away from the hole by the bomb. Because the bomb, you still get the boost from the bomb if you're on the ground. This is our next SEX encounter. The SEX encounters are not known for the greatest AI in this game. Because it's rather easy to dodge them in this encounter. Like that. Just let her jump over you. Go go underneath. And she's out of sight. Whoops. Didn't want to morph there. Got the worm. Okay, that worm shouldn't get in my way, I think. Barely gonna get in my way. Luckily, since we recently picked up an E-tank, we can't take a little bit of damage. Super missiles also kill the Hydor in one shot from here on out, so we don't have to go at point blank distances with the Hydors. Oh my god, these flies. Yeah, this next boss is also a very special one because the Core X downloaded our data, and here we also make use of the charge beam elements. I missed. Unfortunately, I didn't get the full shot in one of those instances, but we'll just have to make do. Let's see if I can get one double. Nope, no doubles. Still no doubles. And now we get the Varia suit. Varia suit protects us from extreme temperatures. So extreme heat, extreme cold. It also means that we can now absorb the blue parasites safely. Because they don't damage us anymore. Actually, they now heal extra instead of compared to the yellow X-Parasites we encountered earlier. In this room, they still try to be aggressive towards you, but after this, the AI changes and they actually try to avoid you. Which is a really neat touch in this game. Collecting a few extra upgrade expansions here before we make our way out of the sector. Here you see the change in AI. Blue X-Parasites try to dodge you. Neat little touch. Yeah, okay. And unfortunately, the sector is now infested with enemies, and that also includes these blue gas-spitting enemies. If you damage them, they shoot gas in all directions, so their hitbox actually doubles in size. And you can get damaged by them. They're really annoying to avoid, because there's still RNG in their placements. And so they have 4 different patterns they can do because they're moving throughout the air. So it can be a real pain to avoid them. That bomb at the wall there was to prepare for our next visit for the sector. Because behind that wall there's also another upgrade. And we'll collect that later. Yeah, with so this game is very special in a sense. So you start out with the missiles, which are definitely your strongest weapon by then. Charge beam, however, overtakes it rather quickly. However, after that, your missiles get upgraded to super missiles, and it slowly starts to become equal to charge beam again. Later in the game, the missiles get stronger than charge beam, and then they upgrade your beam, so that gets stronger again. So it's a back and forth between your charge beam and your missiles for dealing damage to the enemies. A little spoiler is that charge beam will win this ongoing battle in damage. Although that's still gonna take a while before we have our maximum damage output. As we make our way to Sector 5. The reason the game sends us to Sector 5 now is because we now have the various suit, and Sector 5 is the Arctic sector. So it's sub-zero climate circumstances, really cold. And we are now equipped to go through the sector with relative ease. However, in order to get our next upgrades, we need to unlock another security level. And so we're gonna get to that. Can't believe I still made that shot. Oh, that's right. Forgot that. The nasty thing about Sector 5 is that you visited the most out of any sector on this station. So that means that sometimes runners might get confused between which visit they're actually on. And that can result in very time-consuming mistakes. I'll delve into that a little bit later. Yeah, I'm setting up for a speed boost. There we go. And the super missiles are really effective because they kill enemies in one shot along the way. And as we make our way to the security level unlocking. Right now, as you may notice, the sector is relatively tame. It gets a lot more intense once we release the locks. The yellow security level locks. So we have 3 out of 4 security levels unlocked, 1 more to go. And yes, all of them will be unlocked in due time. Yeah, this room is all about optimal movement, wall jumping in order to make the cycle. And here I make use of the charge beam shot on the first frame. So as I mentioned, if you hold your beam while going through a door transition, it's fully charged once you exit the door transition. So if you let go of B during the door transition, you fire the shot on the first frame. And that allows you to shoot that gate without stopping. So, in 100% we go for a little bit more, some more items. So for this, we do this little puzzle here. You have to freeze this enemy, kill this enemy, and... Oh, dang it. I absorbed that. That wasn't intended, so I have to reset the room. That can happen. You have to be careful in some of these rooms. So now I'm just gonna play it safe. Unfortunately, he spawned all the way here. I need him to be right there. Oh. Ah, that's a shame. Okay. Okay, I'll wait until he... Oh, really? Luckily, this is quick freeze. Yes. Okay. Normally that's supposed to go a lot more smoother, but oh well. Can happen. It's a nice little puzzle involving your recently picked up upgrades. This game has the tendency to let you use the upgrade you just picked up to your heart's content right after it. So, for example, we have to take this exit out of the sector, and you need to use ice missiles for that. Nasty thing about ice missiles though is that instead of killing, if it would kill an enemy, it would freeze it first instead. So you would need additional shots, an additional shot to kill enemies. So that makes the missiles actually less useful, or not as useful as they could be, because it still increases their damage output, but it makes it harder to kill enemies without stopping movement. So that hinders us a little bit. However, shit is about to hit the fan, as they say. Maybe a little bit overboard with my language there. Because we have an emergency at our hands. Emergency in Fracture Z, or emergency in Sector 3 actually. Because we have a meltdown at our hands. The reactor is overloading and we have to stop it within 6 minutes. Otherwise, this whole space station is gonna blow. So, this is basically a get as far quickly as you can from point A in the game to point B in the game. So it's just a race against the clock. I can tell you, we have plenty of time. 6 minutes. You might give you the impression that this takes a long time. I'll do it, if all goes well, easily under 2 minutes. Especially in 100% since I have a lot of ammo. Because ammo and health are important in this part. Because it's easy to take a lot of damage or to run out of ammo. And ammo is your friend here. Because you need to freeze, actually freeze stuff that's in your way. Okay. I have to kill those enemies on the way down in order to descend quickly. Fortunately, I didn't get the full hit on that enemy. Yeah, these lava things can push you forwards or backwards if you're in a tough spot. Obviously, I want them to boost me forwards. But I didn't get any, so that's also fine. Yeah, as you can see, this segment is rather movement intensive. And we freeze a lot of things in a way. In any percent, this can get a lot more critical since we don't have as much ammo. And here I want to use a little setup to make my life easier, but unfortunately I didn't get good RNG on that. So either what's gonna be three or 4 beams or 2. That's fine. Still gotta be a decent sector. We get another beam core X, and let's see if we can get some doubles on that. Okay, I got a double and the sweet spots. That's nice. That setup is a little bit random to get, but 4:17 is a decent time. World record is at 4:36, I think. But you need good RNG for that on the Eider as well. So the missiles were The missiles were stronger than the charge beam because of the ice missile upgrades. However, with the white beam upgrade we just got, the charge beam actually got stronger again because you get 3 beams instead of 2. 3 beams instead of 1. Or 2 actually, never mind. So we deal a lot, and we both deal a lot more damage, and we and we have more beams. So that makes our life a lot easier for the next bit of the game. Now we just make our way out of this sector. In any percent, you would still need to be on guard because you don't have as much health. Luckily, with ice missiles, but luckily in this sector, in this category, we have a lot more health. And with ice missiles, we can do a little bit of a faster climb by freezing the enemies, allowing us to wall jump to the top. So yeah, so basically what we saw in that room, maybe you didn't saw because it went by a little bit quick, but this X-Parasites actually imitated a researcher and activated the meltdown sequence. So that's really, so yeah. We find out that the X-Parasites are actually pretty intelligent. They absorb the intelligence of whatever creature they possess. So all their knowledge, and they use it to their advantage, or at least in an effort to try and wipe us out. But the computer actually has found some non-X-Parasite life signs on the observation deck. So we're gonna check out if these are actually humans we'll be seeing. Little spoiler, there won't be any more, there won't be any humans there. But there also won't be any enemies there. In fact, you may see them in a run later this week. They're animals from Super Metroid. It's canon that they actually escaped Zebes, and they're actually on this space station. And in fact, in this game, you have to save them from the observation deck, and in turn, they'll help you out a little bit later down the line.
Can I interrupt for a donation?
Go ahead.
I have a €5 donation from McQuay87 saying, I'm working in a hospital in Germany with cancer patients, knowing how intensive the work sometimes is, but I love it, because I know I'm doing the right thing. Now enjoying that wonderful event for a good cause. Watching for the first time, go ahead and let's do this.
Okay, what I tried to do in that room is get a jump extent. If you spin jump and you shoot cancel, your vertical velocity gets reset, so you can get a little bit further. The problem is you have to time it precisely in order to skip freezing the first one. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, so it's faster to go for the normal setup that way. How quickly the animals get to the door is random, and they are really slow because they ran past the door exactly when I opened it, so slow pattern. You can get it from near instant to about 10-15 seconds wasted. So yeah, it's a little bit of RNG, and there's nothing you can do about it. And in my PV, I actually got them instantly, so that's a gold split I never have any chance of improving, unfortunately. But yeah, with the animals saved, the Atakuns and the Dakoras, we now proceed with our mission. And what is our mission? Well, we'll make it to the next navigation room to find out what it actually is. Because it's gonna be picking up another upgrade. Because the data room in Sector 5 hasn't been blown up yet, so we're gonna use it again to get another upgrade. And this upgrade will be the power bombs. Power bombs are pretty strong. They can blow up just a little bit more stuff, and they also have this sort of X-ray function built into it. But you'll see when that you'll see what I mean with that soon. And whilst we're headed there, we'll also collect this missile tank here. This is the space where the SAX, our clone, evil clone, was hiding in that cutscene. There's a missile tank over there. So yeah, we're about halfway into the game right now. To give you a little bit of an idea how we're doing. It's 100% is about a little under half an hour longer than any percent, and a lot of that is in the last part of the run because we'll do a cleanup across all the sectors to collect some items optimally, and collect some items we can only collect then. So, this is our second visit to Sector 5, so we'll be setting up for a nice little shine spark we can do now. Let's see. Okay, got it. We'll have another visit to Sector 5, and the second one is way more important. I get that one, and you'll see right then why. This is still a time save for an RTA setting. For a tool assistant run, it's slower actually to do that shine spark. So it's not by much. They're within a few seconds from one another to either shine spark, get the optimal shine spark, or do just walk. But for a non-tool assisted setting, it's usually faster to go for that shine spark. If in a powerbomb explosion, hidden passages are also revealed, so that's the X-ray function I was talking about. The screen also shakes during that explosion, so you can't latch onto anything. So you can't power grip, you can't even open the menu. Also, pay no mind to that SCX encounter. It's not even worth mentioning because we're so fast that we can't even see the SCX. And we'll have to unlock, we had to unlock, and what you saw me do there is, you can't ledge grab in that state, so I'll use wall jumps to gain the height required to make it up there whilst the power bomb is going off. Unfortunately, dodging rippers when you're falling from above is, yeah, hard. I mean, the rippers' movements are random, so these brown-like creatures. I will do a similar exit to last time, except that we need to collect a little bit more this time. Because now we're gonna have to solve a little puzzle. All these blocks below here are crumble blocks, as you can see. So if you fall through, you have to do this entire thing from the top again. I froze it way too far to the right. About there should do. Okay, good. Jump extend in order to make it past the last row of crumble blocks. These are all crumble blocks here. So it can be a really time-consuming room, so it went relatively fine. And right now we can make our way out of the sector as quickly as we can. And by now we can use a shortcut using the power bombs, because these blocks below can actually be blown up by power bombs. Nice. Made the cycle. Because if you get hit by one of these enemies, you fall down, and then you have to do the climb again. So that's a little bit more optimization. So the computer tells us to go back to our ship, because apparently the computer has something to tell to us. Well, of course, we're happy to oblige, so we'll make our way to the ship. By now we've collected a fair bit of energy tanks, about 6, 7 of them. A lot of missiles as well, so we're in a good spot. And we'll just make this casual elevator ride, but the power drops, so we have to escape the elevator right here. Well, and what is this? Is this Ridley? Well, not exactly. We may or may not see Ridley later in this run. Well, we'll get to that. Because right now we're in a room which is really dangerous if you're doing this in low percent conditions, because you actually have to get the shine spark here in order to dodge a missile tank. Because you don't want to pick up this missile tank right here. In 100% we have to pick it up anyways. And in any percent it's an optional one. It's not that much slower to pick it up. Because the extra missiles also save a bit of time. But anyways, we made it to our ship, so let's hear what the computer has to say to us. So apparently the power has dropped. The X-Parasites took out the power reactors to trap us in place. Safe rooms aren't working, normal navigation rooms aren't working. And animals made their way to the ship, so that's nice. Animals are safe. Now we're gonna investigate what's going on. So right now we'll be getting into something that's referred to as a little boss gauntlet, because we'll be fighting a couple of bosses in rather short succession. And of course we'll be collecting a few more items in between. This energy tank is always picked up in any percent because it's, well, it almost costs you more time to skip it than it costs you to pick it up. Obviously we don't pick up this one in any percent because it's rather slow. Found one there to clear the blocks. And whoops. Should wall jump a little higher. And nice RNG. This boss here is one of the toughest bosses, and so I'm gonna focus a little bit. Okay, I didn't get many missiles in. Oh wow. Come on, this RNG. 3 rounds. Okay, I got a little bit too little misses in at the start. Oh. I have to pause a little bit because my Game Boy turned off, so otherwise I can't move. Come on. Okay. I'm just gonna take this safe, I guess. Because I took a lot of damage because my Game Boy turned off. It's fine. It does a maximum of 4 rounds of swooping down without doing anything. So I'll just take this a little bit more safe. I should be fine for this round. Because this is just playing volleyball with Yakuza, as he's called. See if I can. No doubles. Completely whiffed that one. At least I get the damage going. So that's something. That was a train wreck of a Yakuza fight, but I'll take it. So, a little thing I didn't tell you about, you can get doubles on most core axes. However, with each missile upgrade it gets harder to get the doubles. because each missile upgrade increases your missile cooldown time, so they'll be spaced further apart, and they also increase your missile speed, so it's harder to keep them together overall. With each missile upgrade, the difficulty increases. At the end, we get one more missile upgrade, and by then it's really hard to get doubles. So we're just gonna hope for the best. So we got the auxiliary power on, so the save rooms now work. However, most of the station is still without power. So we have to look for the cause of this power outage whilst dodging this SCX encounter. As you can see, I've done this many times, so not getting... this is rather frightening if you're playing this casually for the first time. I'm like, I've done this many times, so I'm not too worried. The power bomb in the previous room is to set up for the cleanup later, because I need to clear out a couple of blocks. And I'll be collecting these power bombs here. You start out with 10 power bombs if you get the initial power bomb upgrades. Those 10 are for clearing the game plenty. You never run out of power bombs in any percent. In 100% we pick up a total of 74 or something. It's ridiculous amount of power bombs. You don't even remotely need that many. This boss is really nice because it's just a matter of getting your missile damage in. Just mash. In any percent we barely don't have enough missiles, so we have to augment it with charge beam shots. However, in 100% we can do it full missile. And we have another beam core X. I'm terrible at getting the doubles on these. Yeah, no doubles. So here we get another beam upgrade, and this one is very special. It's the plasma beam. Plasma beam deals damage for each frame it's inside of the enemy. So you can imagine that that is rather overpowered. This beam is really strong, because it's a charged beam shot of this... Well, I completely blanked out there, because I'm supposed to do a charge spark there, but this also works. Excuse me? There we go. And here it's just a matter of ledge grabbing before the power bomb goes off. But the plasma beam, yeah, really strong. You can kill a lot of enemies in one hit, like these enemies here. So we've defeated the boss that blocked the power generator. So we have power now on the station. So let's see what the next mission is gonna be after we collect this missile tank here. I like to freeze things in that room. Usually it gets them out of your way. I will go for another shine charge here. There are a good bunch of them throughout this run. It's always free to go for them in order to get on the elevator a little bit faster. So right now there's a lot of destruction going on in Sector 5. Apparently something is going on there, so we're sent to investigate what's happening there. Also, the computer and the Federation did expect us to recover plasma beam for some reason. We also get into that a little bit later. So we'll make our way to Sector 5, and Sector 5 is a good bunch different from last time we visited. Because there's this creature wreaking havoc upon the sector. It's a creature that was in captivity, but it got affected by X-Parasites and is now destroying the place. It's called Nightmare. Nightmare is a very special boss, but we'll get to that. First, I'm gonna set off for one of the longest shine spark in the game, and hopefully I can get it. There we go. 4 rooms of relaxing. Because we just be flying through all these rooms. It's always good, very satisfying to get that one. And here I need to be careful because... There we go. If I miss it here, then I have to go back for it a little bit later. After the next boss fight. These scramble blocks in this room are both easy and hard to dodge, because you know where they are. But for some reason I still fall through them at times. Because everything in this sector melted, we are now underwater, and underwater movements doesn't go as smooth as we like. But well, that will change soon enough. But before we're gonna do that, we're gonna collect a few more upgrades. This powerbomb tank, for example, and another one which we'll do with a really cool setup. Right next to the enemy. And we have another powerbomb tank. So most of this game, like other Metroid games, is you need power bombs to get more power bombs. Funny enough. This RNG is really good, nice. There's a way you can bomb out a path in order to collect the tank, but it's much faster to do it this way, and it's rather lenient here. So, Nightmare. Nightmare is a very special boss. First phase will end near instantly. Right there. Second phase will do a little bit differently. As you can see, you can manipulate gravity, so missiles don't work as well. Second phase is a matter of spamming missiles. Charge beam would be stronger were it not that his hitbox is actually 1 frame. So your damage output is way higher with the missiles, with your damage per second. The movement of this boss may seem random, but if you move the same way, the boss will move the same way every time. So it's all a matter of manipulation by you. But if you move the wrong way, you'll keep on rotating around, and you're not in a good spot to damage it. Luckily, I got it rather quickly, and now we get the one of the best looking suits in the game, the gravity suits. Gravity suits further reduces our damage we take from enemies, and it also allows free movement in watery circumstances. Which is rather convenient, I might add. And now we can shine spark underwater, which is cool. So we'll be setting up for a shine spark here. Normally in any percent we would immediately blaze ahead, but we have a tank to collect here. Luckily this room is... Once we break the blocks, it's easy to set up the remaining speed boost. What I'm doing here was a space boost. I combined the space jump I received from Yakuza with speed boost, and that is one of the most optimal forms of movement in this game, because it doesn't have a startup or bonking animation. This room I'm in is the worst room in the game, dubbed by many a speedrunner of this game, because the shots of these enemies, to dodge all of it and the enemies themselves, is rather it's quite a chore actually. And this part of the game, you think Nightmare is casually a very hard boss, but this section of the game is really dangerous. Because all the enemies deal a ton of damage, actually. So it's rather easy to die. And it's also rather easy to forget a tank in this segment of the game. That has happened to me a lot. Cost me a couple of PBs. Luckily, I by now know where most I by now have most items in my muscle memory. So yeah, we were trapped in Sector 5, so this was our only way forward. So we have to unlock security level 4, the last level. This was not what we are not allowed to do this by the computer, so we'll hear about that in a couple minutes. The rest of this segment is collecting items mostly, and some of them are quite the task to collect them in a fast way. Yeah, those aqua pirates can be annoying because when they turn around, their hitbox decreases ever so slightly. So that means that they won't die in one charge plasma shot. Dodging damage in this segment is quite a challenge, and in low percent this is definitely the most difficult part of the game. Freeze that enemy. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna set up for a Shine Spark and hopefully I can get it, so I need a little bit of focus for this. No! Almost. I needed one more. Now I have to do the slower setup. Luckily it's not that much slower. Because what I could do, if I would be able to get the Shine Spark off and recharge it on the slope, then I would be able to get into that Morphle tunnel and activate it from below immediately. But still, we got it without too much difficulty, so I'm not complaining too much. So yeah, data room, we need this upgrade. We can't technically in the English version you can skip this upgrade using some clever curved missiles. However, the game's event system is so rigid that you actually have to collect the upgrade. The game won't allow you to progress any further. You get a secret message actually if you manage to skip it. Which is you can do it in two ways. In all versions you can do it using a very challenging multiple Shine Spark setup. In the English version you can use, whoops, don't forget this one. In the English version you can use the curved missile setup. However, the English version was released earlier than the Japanese version, so they fixed it in the Japanese version by moving some blocks around. They changed the room at the fusion missiles ever so slightly to accommodate for that. So with this, I'm gonna quickly check. Yeah, wait, I forgot something. I did forget. I forgot an energy tank. What did I forget? I'll return to Sector 4 later anyway, so I'll have time to figure out what I missed there. It's gonna be fine. What did I miss though? Got that one. Oh, I know what I forgot. I'll get it later. It's fine. I forgot an energy tank in a spot. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's a time loss, anyways, because I have to make a little bit of a detour to get it later. But it's fine. This checklist you saw me use on my start menu is actually if you complete the game and reload a new file from a completed game file, you actually have this option in the menu that allows you to see if you collected every energy tank, missile tank, and power bomb tanks in the sector, including the main deck. So it's a nice checklist for marathons such as these. Yeah, it can happen that you forget stuff, unfortunately. I tried to use an R-shot to open that door. R-shots, if you have a beam charged and select missiles, you shoot your charged beam. And you do so by not changing movement state, so you keep in space boost, you keep in spin jump. And you use that in some places that's useful, it's useful. Unfortunately, I didn't get the arc shot off in time. Yeah, in Sector 6, we get sent to exterminate an enemy, which is wreaking havoc. And that enemy we've encountered actually before. Because there's this one boss that escaped me. But unfortunately, that boss got infected by X-Parasites. Yeah, I'm not joking that the community actually calls this boss Xbox. Clever name. But we're gonna deal with Xbox soon enough.
No entry without authorization.
Recharging that Shine Spark to use it in this room. And Xbox works in a similar way to the original box fight.
Warning. No.
Except that he now can jump high enough to knock you off the rails. And he shoots missiles at you this time. I was off position. That's 3, 7. Oh. Okay. Okay, got it down. Takes 12 missiles to kill Xbox. This beam core actually can't get any double missiles on, and it shoots wave beam at you, and it deals a lot of damage. So in any percent, it's rather easy to die from this boss because you don't have much space to maneuver. In 100%, it's not dangerous at all since you have a ton of health anyway. And right now we get Wave Beam, and with Wave Beam and Plasma Beam we get the strongest beam combination in the game, which is a lot stronger than the fusion missiles plus ice missiles plus whatever we have right now. So right now most all bosses are gonna be killed using the beams. Although we do use the missiles in some specific places, the core fight you still need to use missiles. And also there's Metroids in this game, because apparently the Federation was hiding a Metroid cloning facility from us. So they're still in this game. However, the SCX also found out, and the Metroids are the natural predator of the SCX, of the X-Parasites. So they take her down with ease, and we have this 1 minute to escape this room. Whoa, I'm dropping. Okay, that was a little bit bad. You can do it in 5-ish seconds. And I dropped a couple of my space jumps, so it took me over 10. You can easily do it within the minutes the game gives you. And right now we encounter this wall of text because we're not supposed to blow up the secret Metroid breeding facility of the Federation. And we get informed that there are actually no less than 10 SCXs aboard the ship, so 10 evil clones of us. Because they duplicate asexually, so yeah. Terrible. And the Federation is really mad at us, and well, we get the instructions to make our way to the start of this sector. So right now we are back in Sector 1, although at a whole different place. Looks a bit like Turian from other Metroid games. Collecting a few more things. And we can easily get through because we're in our almost most powerful setup. For a second I thought that that enemy would glitch out. Sometimes it can happen that it glitches out. Okay. That enemy can only be shot in the back, but the game checks this by seeing if you're facing the same way as the pirate. So if you turn around quickly enough, then it counts as shooting in the back. And we can kill those enemies rather easily instead of jumping over them and all that stuff. In this room we also have to trigger a couple of these golden pirates. Okay, that's one. Whoops. There we go, that's two. Also, double. I hope you're enjoying your audio shift because I'm going to make it a lot more fun for you in this next bit. Because the poor guy, the poor guy has to deal with the audio of the next boss. Good luck. This is loud. This is the Ridley clone, and Neo Ridley is rather loud, but he also has such a large sprite that he actually lacks the GBA. Because Metroid Fusion was released rather early in the GBA life cycle. Luckily Ridley is down. It's rather easy because you fire diagonal shots at Ridley in order to maximize damage of the plasma beam. And with the amount of damage that it deals per frame it's inside the enemy, you can make quick work of Ridley in this way. Right now we have our final major upgrade of this game, the Screw Attack. Basically with every non-boss enemy from here on out, and we have 2 bosses left, every non-boss enemy gets killed if you spin jump into it. So it's a rather broken upgrade.
Do you have the time for a donation?
Go ahead.
We have a €5 donation from Green Snowdog saying, "This is the first marathon I've been at and I hope for a great week of good runs."
Whoops, I fell down.
Other than that, I also quickly want to plug the donation incentive for Spiral Year of the Dragon 100 Egg is still currently at €23 out of 175 for Bone Dance. So if you want to make that Bone Dance happen, get your donations in now.
So, with Ridley done, normally any percent would exit Sector 1 as soon as it can, and you would have this large ball of text go face the final 2 bosses of the game, and that's that. However, in 100% we're gonna make our tour around the sectors in order to collect the missing upgrades, clean up all the sectors. So this is a large item collection spree we're going on right now. So and that adds a lot of gameplay to this category. So we'll be revisiting all sectors. And a lot of it involves shine sparks, space jumps, setups. You'll see. The first part involves involves a couple of shine sparks to collect 2 items. And Screw Attack clears the blocks as well in this area. Okay, good. Got that one. So first of all, we have to collect this tank here. It can also be done on other revisits of this sector. However, it's much faster to do now since we have screw attack, and it's also on the way from here. Okay. So the second shine spark is for this room in order to get a tank right there. Oh. And of course I was a little bit too far to the right. So I have to do that one again. But that'll be fine. I'll manage. I mean, the setup is rather quick, luckily. Of course, not when you shine spark when you don't want to. Because the thing is, if you jump normally and you press A, you'll activate shine spark. So, but if you spin jump, you won't activate shine spark while pressing A. That should work. Yeah, it's all a matter of collecting items, and we can collect them more quickly now because we either have speed booster, screw attack, or space jump. Space jump is also a huge movement thing, as you'll see soon. These are the stabilizers we cleared. Obviously, it's been about an hour and 20 minutes since we last been here. You can do the tank in this room as quickly as you can get to Sector 1, and you can do this room by wall jumping. However, it's much faster to do it using space jump, because you can quickly get up that room. And screw attack also allows you to get through many of those platforms. Yeah, there are two things you can do here. You can do a space boost, and that's a little bit quicker because you don't have the bonk animation. But you have to pick up that tank on the platform with the space boost in the first try and continue space boosting afterwards, and that's really tight to get. I believe the world record does it, but it's most of the time not worth it to go for because it's rather inconsistent for the less talented, as I'll refer to myself. So with this last tank here, Sector 1 should be clear. I can check real quick. 3 icons, that's good. That means that Sector 1 is clean. 5 more sectors to go, and 1 more item on the main deck. We'll get to that. Luckily, they made this shortcuts system towards other sectors, hidden in the side walls of most sectors. This item, again, you can get on the first visit, but it's much faster to get now, because you have space jump. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Hopefully I can get this. I jumped too high. That's fine. Because we can also get it from here. But it's a little bit slower to do it that way. Got the frame perfect jump of that crumble block, interestingly enough. That's something I'd rather have in a different place. We'll get to that. So we'll be cleaning up the rest of Sector 3, and it's going down in towards the lava sector. Luckily, since we have screw attack, we don't have to bother as much with dodging enemies, or shooting them, for that matter. We can just set up in a quick way. So right now you saw a long horizontal spark, but now we're gonna see a rather long vertical spark. This one is rather long, so a huge distance upwards. In the older 100% route, we would do the sectors in reverse order. So right now we're doing the 1, 3, 5, 6, 4, 2. In the older route, you would do the 1, 2, 4, 6, 5, 3, 5, 3, and end with 1. However, there's a shortcut you can use if you end on sector 2, and that makes it much faster than the older routes. So that's nice. The reason I didn't land on the platform with the Novas there is that those platforms are crumble blocks, so you can't land on them properly. And here I'm gonna try and set up for a space boost. Yes, got it. Nice. Okay. That space boost, you need to open the door and get to jump at the right time without landing on the floor. If you jump through a screen transition, game puts you 1 pixel above the ground. So, in some cases, so you have to be careful with a couple of those. With this, Sector 3 is almost clean. I need to collect a few more upgrades. We'll make our way to the top. As I mentioned, you can't wall jump in this game, but you can replicate it with space jump and the ladders a little bit. Because you can do it on a single wall. And it's a little bit faster if done optimally. Because jumping through the air is slower than jumping off a platform. Ever so slightly. Okay, got it. This Shine Spark is really... well, you can see why it saves time to get it. It's a long room, and having to space jump through all of that room is rather slow. Also, I need to reset it up because I started too far to the left. There we go. And with this Sector 3, we have one more sneaky little sneaky little item tank to collect as we make our way to Sector 5, because the item tank is hidden right here. Right on top of this doorway. It's amazing. And here you see that Wave Beam plus Plasma Beam is a really overpowered combination. A single charge shot of that also kills most enemies in the way. And go away, spacebar it. I'll just ignore that. And right now we're in Sector 5. Sector 5, luckily we don't need to collect as much. There's only a couple of items here. Oops. That spitter is always a bit of a pain. But it's nice to set up this Shine Spark, because not only you collect this one item with it, but you also go straight through the wall to collect the second one. Really interesting how these sectors are designed. Because this game is a lot more linear than the other Metroids. In the other Metroids you can do things in a lot of different orders. You can decide which bosses you fight in which order, or which items you do first. This game does take away a lot of that freedom. But it's still definitely a Metroid, and the atmosphere in this game is really good, well made with the music and the sector design and boss design and such. Also, the fact that you fight a lot more bosses than in the usual Metroid games is also really cool. On a more personal note. I was setting up Shine Spark here, and I always press down too quickly there. Let's do that again. There we go. You can do this with the space boost and collect that tank in one go, but that space boost is really tight. And I'm not practiced enough to do so. Second, that would be the second way to get it, but that one's also a little bit tight. I personally prefer this one. If I do it properly, that is. I think it was here. There we go. Oh, I also need to set this up. Here you see a little bit of space boosting. This is the intended way to get this item. Can be quite a challenge. It's a fun little thing. Game you can do gameplay with gameplay mechanics of this game. But you definitely need shine sparks and space boosts in order to get all of the items in this game. The next couple of upgrades are by far the most annoying upgrades to get for most runners. For this next tank we're gonna get is all the way in one corner of the sector, and it also requires a specific setup to get. And that's because if you don't do this using a space boost, you get stuck in if you do this using a normal shine spark, you would spark up, get past the blocks, won't be able to get back, and you would have to go loop all the way around Sector 1, Sector 3, Sector 5 to get in order to get back there again. But that space boost can be rather annoying because right below the edges of those blocks you go through are crumble blocks. So if you don't do it the right way, you immediately fall through again and have to reset that thing up again. The space boost. But luckily we got it first try. And this is just muscle memory for the Xbox fight that I morphed there. Not much happening there. And this tank here, I'll show you in a second, is by far the most time-consuming thing you can have. Because yeah, like as I mentioned, jumping off crumble blocks frame perfect. So getting that is rather difficult. In Super Metroid you can buffer the jump. I don't have that luxury. So I'm mashing like crazy and I'm not getting it. It's a lucky shot. In practice, believe it or not, I got it first try and I predicted that I was never gonna be this lucky during my actual run, and I was right. Okay, we're gonna YOLO this. No. Come on. There we go. Whew. And I got the frame perfect spring ball jump on the way back. That's nice. Jeez. Jeez. That can cost you. You can be on a PB pace up until there and lose it all because you can't get that single jump. Really annoying when that happens. This room here has a very special setup because you have to bomb these things in very specific places. This should do, I think. If you place the bombs further to the left or right, the pillar raises up in the middle and you have to reset that room. Like that. Jeez. The nasty thing is, I need these platforms to get back as well. So I have to reset this room again. Feel free to read some donations, by the way. Or anything else.
We currently have no donations, but I can tell us something about our channel. We are the Benelux Speedrunners Gathering, and we are raising money for the Dutch Cancer Society, which is a nationwide organization committed to fight cancer while aiming for more cure and a higher quality of life for those already battling the disease. 95% of your donations will go to the Dutch Cancer Society, and the other 5% will help improving this beautiful event.
Wonderful. And with this, say the most difficult parts in this item collection spree are done. We have a few more items to collect, a few more sectors to visit, and of course, I also missed a tank a little bit earlier, so I have to pick that one up again. So let's get to that, because after Sector 6, it's Sector 4. And normally in this sector you would go straight down into the path towards the next sector. However, I'm contemplating what route I could take best, because the nasty thing is that it's in a rather awkward spot. It's at the start of the underwater segment, so okay, we're gonna do it like this, I think. Not sure if this is the optimal way, because obviously this is not in the 100% item route. We're gonna have to do it anyways. Let's see if I can charge it from here. I should be yes, I should be able to. Okay. That already saves me a little bit of time. Because from here on out, I can make my way up here, and I realize I could have space jumped there. Well, I need to make my way here, actually, because this is down into the underwater segment. So let's see. I need a little bit more of a leap. Here we go. And now I have to get through this lovely segment here again. Luckily, I have space screw attack right here. Right, so I can deal with most enemies rather efficiently. Because what I forgot was the tank in the next room. And it's this specific tank here. Yeah, and by now I should have everything in this sector as well. That's good. So now we have the unfortunate task of having to make our way back to the other part of the other side of the underwater segment. Luckily, screw attack makes my life easier, as I said, because now I don't have to do difficult stuff with charges or such. I could just walk straight through and spin jump every now and then. And you'll see how quickly this part goes by. I can actually take a shortcut here. To be precise, this one. This is the backup if you fail getting through the one with the speed boost on the right. Let's see if I can make this fancy. Yes. Okay, back on track. Towards Sector 2. And next item I'm gonna collect is my least favorite item of all. Due to one reason, and you'll soon see why. This next room, everything you see, nearly everything you see is crumble blocks. So you fall straight through if you fall on top of that. As you can see, luckily I still got the jumps off. This part is the... Okay, good. First try. That's good. Just getting you need to get your space jumps tight and small. That's hard to do every now and then, especially when you're a little bit nervous. might be a little bit of a bothersome task, and you can lose a lot of time on that if you're really unlucky.
Do we have time for one or two donations?
Go ahead.
We have actually two donations. One is anonymous without a comment, and we a €5 donation, and we have another €10 donation from Demitus, also without a comment. Thank you for your generosity.
Yeah, the rest of Sector 2 is revisiting this area and collecting all the items so we can right now. Yeah, it's the last bit of the clean. It's the last major part of the cleanup. After this sector, we only have one single tank to collect. This one's also a lot of fun. Nice crouch lock. If you can also do it by jumping off the crumble blocks. It is a little bit faster to do so, but it can be a little bit bothersome to get. So I normally don't go for it. You can also get this tank a little bit earlier. We're using the zip line, but it's much faster to get it now using space jump. And this tank you can only get after gravity suit. So it's much faster to get all of this right now. Right now I have every E-tank. I only need a couple more. I think I need a few more missiles and a few more power bombs. I don't know exactly how many in which order. But the next part is gonna be the Shine Spark Valhalla, literally, because you have to do Shine Sparks, a couple Shine Sparks from left to right. And you'll see what I mean. Just these slopes here are all crumble blocks, so you need speed boost or Shine Spark to get across these, because you need to break a wall at the end with Shine Spark, with a speed boost or a Shine Spark. And this is what can happen if you don't jump properly. You have to reset that one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this in order to get this tank a little bit earlier. It's more optimal to keep Shine Spark at its top using a Shine Break and to use it to break those blocks. However, this is nice for a backup.
Can I read another one?
Go ahead.
Thank you. We have a €10 donation from Noodlebox saying, first time watcher, looking forward to all the runs coming up. Thank you for your generosity.
And with this, Sector 2 should be clean. There we go. I have all the missiles, I know that for sure. I'm not completely sure about power bombs, but I can check that rather easily, I think. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a... just because I can, I'm gonna make a little tour and show you a hidden room. A room most people are not aware of it actually exists. Because it's well hidden. This is a recharge room. I am missing a power bomb tank somewhere from the looks of it. So what I'm gonna do is I know Sector 1 is clear, I know Sector 4 is clear. So I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna go back to the other sectors. I presume it's something I missed. Oh, wrong turn. I'm just gonna check this. Gonna take a quick stroll through the sectors. this one should be clear, so I'm not worried about this. Because I won't rest until I have all the items. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's... Is it here? It's not here. Because I should end at 74, I think. 14. Because I should end at 74 power bombs. So that, and I know I have to collect one more power bomb in sector in on the main deck. So that one's in line. Sector 5 is also fine.
Can I read another one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. We have a 10-euro donation from Mr. Hu saying nothing. Thank you for your donation.
Sector 3. What did I forget here? Because this is... I forgot the power bomb tank. Where did I forget it? Did I forget the one? No. I forgot. Let's see. This will likely make me go a little bit over estimates. But I know where to look, so that's already a lot more helpful. It should be down here somewhere. Oh, right. Oh, I know. It's this one. I think. There you are. I've completely forgot this one. Let's see. It's faster to go take the normal exit from here. But I know the wall of text I have to face soon enough will take 2 minutes at least, and another couple minutes for the final boss. So if I estimate correctly, then I'll be going about 5 minutes over estimate, roughly. We'll see. We'll see. I'll be going over estimate without a doubt. That should be around 5 minutes. It's fine. We'll minimize the time loss. So right here we get scolded for trying to interfere. The Galactic Federation is actually interested in the X-Parasites. They want to capture it and use it for whatever purposes. We decide we're not agreeing. The X-Parasites are really dangerous, and they are way too dangerous to let live. So we're gonna decide to exterminate them, and with a little bit of insight in our minds, the computer actually starts to agree with us. Throughout the game, Samus Aran, our hero, our protagonist, referred to the computer as Adam because she named him after Commander, a previous commander called Adam. Turns out that the computer actually is the digitized mind of this commander, and he actually agrees with us after confronting him with the choice Adam once made, like some choose to live, some choose to die. Because our original plan was to blow up the space station together with ourselves. However, Adam gives us a better option to alter the course of the space station to collide with the planet, blow up the planet and the space station, and make our way out with our ship. Because we have a little bit of time to escape for that, so that's a much better option because it allows us to survive. It's lovely. I have exactly one more tank, power bomb tank to collect, and it's on the way, so that's nice. Let's get there as quickly as we can.
Can I read another donation?
Go ahead.
We have €5 from Annoy Mouse saying, like, actually the word nothing this time. Just nothing. Thank you for that donation.
So with this, we have 100% of the items. So that's fun. That's cool. Took us a couple of detours to get them, but we're on track. So in order to alter the course of the space station, we have to go in the room above the first data room we visited nearly 2 hours ago. So right here, we're going up this elevator for the last time, and we have the SCX fight left. Cause yeah, she's here. But this time we can fight back. And this combination of freezing and shooting her is actually the quickest way to kill her. So, SCX down. Three. Takes 6 to go down. But I probably didn't land any doubles. Nope, no doubles. And instead of collecting the core X this time, it escapes. So that'll have some relevance later. So right now we're going for the final escape sequence. So tech, be ready on time, because in less than 3 minutes we'll be hitting the split key, so to say.
Can I sneak in another quick donation?
You have one more.
I have €20 from Daken saying, save the animals, question mark?
Animals are already saved. In fact, you'll see soon enough that in this game something else happens. So you think this game is simple as well? We have to escape, make it to your ship, and you're out. However, this game adds a little twist to that. Because when we get to the hangar where our ship was, the ship is gone. And this Metroid is in its place. This is an Omega Metroid, final stage of the lifespan of a Metroid. And it's, yeah, wreaks havoc upon us. Luckily, the SCX comes to our rescue, because Metroids are the natural enemy of the X-Parasites. And this time we actually can collect the Core X. And with Ice Beam, which we get from this Core X, we can actually do a lot more to this boss. Ah, almost got the setup. Yeah, got it. There we go. Okay, that's the final boss done. And now the ship will conveniently beam us up and we'll make our way out from this planet. So get ready on time. Time. And I want to come back to that last donation in a bit, because you may say, save the animals. Well, we saved the animals during this one, but this ship can't be started from the computer. So how did the computer manage to save us? Well, that's the last screen I'm going to show you. It's few seconds from now, half a minute from now. Well, the ship has had a little help. And that little help came in the form of 5 creatures. I want to I want to give you at least that very peaceful peaceful scene to end this on. And that scene will come soon enough, because this text, I can't progress it any faster. I only have to press A at the end of these things in order to let it pass by. For normal PBs, you would go through the credits, see the in-game time, see if you actually have a PB. Well, I'm really sure I didn't PB. So I wanted to end it on this nice little scene here. Shoutouts to the Metroid Fusion community. Thanks for having me for Metroid Fusion. I'll be returning with a couple more runs this marathon. So I want to throw it over back to Brood. Thank you.
Thank you, Boxmice, for that amazing Metroid run. So, animals have actually been saved and proven useful, really. Next up will be a race between the Mother Brain and the Surrey Bear in Ninja Gaiden Andy%. But first off, we're gonna throw in a little ad.